Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Sunny and I'm from the Render Network Foundation. And today we have with us Dom. Dom is an artist who creates some amazing experiences. I'll probably do an injustice telling you about Dom. So, Dom, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Mhm. Yeah, cheers, Sonny. Nice to connect with you. I'm a digital artist, living as a digital nomad, traveling the world, using my laptop and the 3D skills I have to kind of support myself on my travel. Really utilizing Octane render and the render network for off and on 6, 7 years now, really for the network anyway.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good amount of time as a 3D artist and an Octane user because Octane is
Yeah,
there's some very special qualities that Octane has that
for sure.
previously
Yeah.
other render engines just didn't have. Tell us about your journey. Like, how did you get started becoming this digital nomad?
I was maybe working freelance for about 2 or 3 years in the UK, and I just kind of had the realization it's like I really could be doing both things, really experiencing the world, which is really important to do, and also to still continue doing the work that I'm really passionate about. And it was that kind of realization and this real leap of faith, I want to say, where I just sold everything. I just completely shifted my lifestyle and moved over to Asia, which is sort of where I've been hopping around since for the last almost 3 years now. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I know there's going to be so many people out there envious of the lifestyle you've now got.
Yeah, including all the glorious sunshine I could ask for.
But it must come with some drawbacks, I guess. Maybe internet speed.
Sure, there's definitely some problems that I'm getting more used to navigating. A
Mm,
common one, surprisingly, is always looking for a plug socket. A lot of places, the plug sockets aren't super available, and like obviously rendering work, I my laptop needs to be plugged in, so that's
yeah.
normally quite a common one. Internet speeds, I have quite a good package on my phone, so I'm always just
Okay.
hotspotting my phone, like tethering it to my laptop. Um, and yeah, then you get the occasional things like laptop screen breaking or like
Mm,
other items. Like there is a certain amount of like constant maintenance required in order to kind of keep things sort of moving. And yeah, like it's sometimes easier to misplace a cable than you might realize, when you're moving
yeah.
about quite a lot.
Yeah. Nah, that's amazing though. So you're currently in Thailand, right?
I'm in Thailand, yeah, on a tiny island called Koh Payam on the Andaman
Wow.
seaside.
Okay, so you are currently a resident artist at a particular venue. Do you want to tell us about that venue and what
I
makes that
am,
special?
yeah. Sure. So the venue is Dreamscape Pi. It's a small, high technology space in Pi, which is in northern Thailand, which is normally where I'm based. Like maybe half of the year I'm kind of settled more, so I have a better setup, including like monitors and other stuff, so I can like work a bit more efficiently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an amazing creative hub, Dreamscape. It's very encouraging for ideas and artists of all kinds coming and collaborating. And they have a dome, maybe like a budget Las Vegas sphere kind of thing, where the inside of it is all fully projection mapped. Um, they have a lot of like point cloud cameras and all these crazy use
Wow.
cases of technology to really like utilize the space. And like more recently, a lot of the work I've been doing is creating like 360 animations for the dome and creating these like really quite immersive experiences and like all of this in like a very tiny village in northern Thailand. It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, amazing. That sounds so good and the visuals you're creating. Yeah, tell us about the tools that you're using.
Sure, yeah. My main go-to is Cinema 4D and Octane, sort of all of the Adobe suite. Um, Dipping into a couple of others, like learning Unreal and getting more into like real-time manipulation as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Resolume, uh, uh, more into like live stuff. I'm kind of transitioning from yeah, offline work into more of a real time kind of situation. Because I sort of see the transition going that way, I want to say. But
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
Dreamscape is an amazing use case for that because you can really, you know, people inside a venue, you can manipulate stuff to their feedback as well.
So tell us about using the render network in this remote location where you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a godsend for me, really. When I sort of realized how cheaply I can start rendering work, and maybe the main limitation for then was the download speed. So I could render things that would take my laptop 4 hours if I wasn't trying to get like a quick previs of something. Now, even for like not even final renders, like draft previews, I would just like send it over to the render network. It'd be done in 5 minutes, and then it's just like a matter of like 30-minute downloads.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's just really sped up my time. I'm not having to leave my laptop on overnight anymore, and
yeah,
yeah, uh, it feels much more keen to the lifestyle and me being able to just use the tools available as efficiently as possible in order to kind of make things work. Obviously, like I'm limited with processing power on a laptop. I'm using a ProArt Studio Book 16, I think. So it's decent laptop. It's got like
yeah,
a 3080 Ti in, but
yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time, it's you're comparing it to a million distributed graphics cards. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's there's a few artists I've spoken to who use the network on a similar basis. You know, they've got a
Mm,
laptop, they sit at a cafe, and they send their work to the network, and it just
mm.
liberates their machine to be able to, you know, reiterate and continue working, continue creating. So that's
Sure. Yeah.
you know, it can be a huge drawback for many artists who are getting started. The render times just
Hmm.
kill the motivation, and everything
Yeah.
stalls. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The one of the main benefits I'm starting to notice is it just aiding in multitasking. So previously, when I was having to render out a piece of work, my laptop was almost unusable. It would be drawing all the processing power from it, and then I wouldn't be able to kind of work on other things. And now I'm like quite often juggling like at least multiple projects at once now, so I can send that off to the cloud. My laptop is it's still available to kind of do other smaller different things while it's waiting.
yeah. That's amazing. That's the perfect way to be using the render network. So
Mm,
you're doing everything right, and obviously the
yeah,
results, you
nice.
know, speak for themselves. It's awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, just so you know, I know you're exploring Unreal Engine, which is awesome. I love Unreal Engine. We have support for other render engines on the network now. So previously it was just Octane. Now we support
Mm,
Redshift. I know
okay.
there's
Nice.
quite a few studios who are using Redshift, and in fact it works really well on the render network. So
Amazing.
definitely give that a try. Yeah, and
Sure.
there's
Yeah.
also Blender cycles. So the Blender community is absolutely huge, and you know there's been a huge increase in the knowledge around Blender very recently. You know, we've had the animation flow, which won an Oscar
Mm.
very
I
recently.
watched it yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, how amazing is that? And that was,
Beautiful, beautiful piece of animation.
it's just so good. And it just goes to show that using open source software, right? It doesn't cost anything, and you're able to
Hmm.
produce Oscar winning work.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
It's really quite interesting the perspective the world has on Blender because I meet when I'm traveling around and talking to people about like what it is I do. Often Blender is always the first thing that they mention. It's like, oh yeah, like Blender, right? And then it's like,
yeah.
no, it's Cinema 4D, you know. But yeah, it's really interesting the mainstream kind of connectivity Blender's had, and I remember, yeah, like wow, like 10, 10, 15 years ago, Blender was just like really low down. Like it hadn't had
Yeah.
all the open source like funding or the involvement in it, and now it's overtook every other 3D software. Really, it's been quite amazing to watch Underdog.
Yeah, that's it. And the community is so powerful. You know,
Mm,
when there's a feature set that they want, they create it, and that's such an amazing thing. It's very
yeah, yeah.
empowering. Yeah, awesome. So, what's next on the horizon for you?
I've been doing this like nomad travel series. I'm sort of started to. I need a title for it, so I'm gonna do that. But yeah, it's the this nomad travel series is essentially documenting beautiful landmarks around the world using like compositing animation to kind of incorporate the live action and some kind of storytelling element within that kind of landmark. And I think for me, that's been a really beautiful way to just kind of like leave my mark digitally, I guess, or just to
Yeah,
document where I've been and express it in a kind of um, in a certain way. And yeah, I think really that is a big proponent of my travel. Also, it gives a strong motivation to go out there and actually see things. Like when you're armed with a camera, suddenly you can just go into any kind of scenario that you never normally would, and you can, you know, you have a tool to kind of stand behind and a point of
yeah,
focus to look through. It's really quite empowering what a camera can do.
it really is. Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I love the idea of compositing into the scene. Um, that's one of my favorite things to do. In fact,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's amazing. Like, are you going to have your own YouTube channel specifically for that, and other socials?
It all sort of exists on Instagram, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
I try and keep everything to sort of a minimum. I feel like Instagram's a nice way of it sort of being received in a way, but it's
Yeah.
also you got to play this algorithm game, and I don't really like that. But it's all a battle to some degree. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be going to on the trip to China, hopefully incorporating some elements of the Great Wall and maybe some of the terracotta army or something. That could be
That
quite
would be
cool. I've got a
cool.
few ideas at the minute. Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome. I can't wait to see what you do.
cool. Okay, I'll keep
Yeah.
you posted. Maybe in a week, I fly to China. It's a whole new adventure. I've never been to China before, but East Asia really fascinates me. Yeah, it's more of a going to be more of a leisure. I was hoping it to be more of a leisure trip, but it seems like I potentially might also still need to work. So I've took on a few smaller jobs now. So maybe when I'm in
Yeah.
China, there'll be a period of work there. So it's going to be interesting trying to navigate around like the Great Firewall of China with VPNs and then
Yeah.
trying to render through that. That's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, just new experience, travel a new country. I feel like the novelty of these kind of experiences in the world really help to kind of for fulfillment and for like experience, and then I can kind of get back into more of a work swing, maybe a couple of months after that.
Amazing. Yeah. That sounds so cool. I am slightly envious. Yeah. No, that's so cool. I've been to China once before, to
Oh, nice.
Shenzhen,
Mm,
and oh, it's such a beautiful place. I mean,
yeah.
Shenzhen in particular, it was kind of the Dubai story. So it was just farmlands, and then in the space of 30 years, it's this hub
Oh, really.
of
Okay.
technology and, huge buildings, and it's so
Yeah.
advanced.
I heard it's like the closest thing to cyberpunk, like any city has really. So I'm excited to check that out.
100%. Yeah. I think the last thing I want to touch on is our grants that we do. So
Sure.
at the Render Foundation, we offer grants to artists and studios. So anyone out there who wants a grant, even yourself, you're more than welcome to apply. It's a super quick process, and we have a chat. It's literally with me, and we talk about what you want to do with the grants, and we're able to fund your Render account with some tokens, with some credits, so that you can use the network. It's wonderful for those who are wanting to really push that R&D. Really explore rendering in 4K, which is quite an obstacle for many people because not having that sort of compute in your local machine is it can be quite tiresome waiting for those renders. So sending things to the network, you know kind of liberated in that sense. So yeah, Dom, you're more than welcome to apply for a grant, and we've 100% got you back with all your travels. You know, you can depend on the Render Network. So yeah,
Sweet.
that's there for you as well.
Wicked. Appreciate it.
Awesome. It has been amazing catching up with you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day.
Pleasure, Sonny.
And yeah, we will absolutely get everyone to follow you on your socials as well. I'll put those right here. Give Dom a follow, guys.
Appreciate it.
Right, it has been amazing chatting with you.
Nice. Yeah, likewise. Really cool.
Until next time, Dom. Take care.
See you guys.
See ya.